Hello, hello, and welcome to another episode of your favorite new podcast, Simply Be Sustainable, the podcast about how to live more with less. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I have the trashiest show for you of all. Yeah, so we're going to get trashy today. We're going to talk about trash. This is the time of year that everybody is really doing what we want them to do, or what I want you to do. I want you to minimize your shit. Okay. So you're going through your closet, you're going through your drawers, you're going through all your crap, and you're like, this no longer serves me. I'm going to get rid of it. But then the problem is, what do people do with it? They throw it away. They throw it in the trash. Okay. There is a difference between trash and shit you don't want no more. Okay. So today, that's what I'm going to tell you because, if you haven't thought about it before, that's just like the culture that we live in. We live in a throw it away culture. Everything we do. I mean, I don't know how people got here. But I'm like, oh God. If it's not garbage, which very little of what you have probably is actually garbage, there is a place that you can put it. In today's show, I'm going to tell you where that is. So you don't have to do the hunt, as I call it. I actually find it somewhat entertaining, but since I'm a big procrastinator, not this year, hopefully, it'll, sit in random piles around the house. And then your husband or your boyfriend or whoever is going to get really annoyed with you. So I'll help you not have to go through all that. All right. So here's what we got on the show today. We are going to talk about ways that you can get rid of your stuff without throwing it in the garbage. We are decluttering. And, normally I like to give you guys a little recap of my life, but I'm just going to say Happy New Year. I spent a lot of time reflecting on 2023. I did one of those, recap videos on Instagram that no one liked. I spent probably not even going to tell you how many hours making that, but it was really hard to try to narrow it down to like 44 1-second photos. But yeah, so I spent a lot of time, reflecting on the year. If you want to get to know me a little bit better, you can go check out that post on Instagram. It's simp.lee.b. But this year I'm trying to be a better planner. I'm trying to get into some routines. I'm going to do a whole episode about that later. But today we have a lot to talk about, so we're just going to dive right in. Okay. So the show is about pretty much what all of the shows are about, which is how to live more with less. Like I said, we have a super throwaway culture problem, and today I'm going to teach you the other ways. Welcome to my simple world, y'all. We are going to talk about the environmental impact of this. We'll explore the consequences of overflowing landfills, unfortunately, and why it's crucial that we change our mindset and move towards a more sustainable approach. We're going to talk about donating. Okay. We're going to talk about community initiatives. We are going to talk about responsible disposal. That's not garbage. It is disposal, which just means you put it in a different place of disposing, I suppose. Things like where you can take your electronics, if your clothes are all stained and they're not worth like donating, stuff like that. And we're going to talk a little bit about recycling. Obviously, I could do a whole freaking podcast about recycling. But we're just going to do like scratch the surface of those. So we have a lot to talk about. You're going to give you your simple swap. But right now we're just going straight for the juggler here. All right. So you're about to hear some information that may or may not shock you. So if you're driving, just try to calm down. The United States produces 268 million tons of waste. Million tons. So a ton is 2,500. So 268 million tons of waste each year. 140 million tons goes into landfills. I don't know what happens to the other ones, but regardless. The average American, so like not me, but the average American throws away 4.5 pounds of trash every day. I don't know the last time I had like 4 pounds of trash, like in a month, maybe in a month. I don't even think in a month. So if you keep listening to the podcast, you won't be like that. The global average is a 1.6 a day. So Americans are like 3.5 times that. So we're on the high end. Also, I'm terrible at math. So if that's wrong, just, disregard. The average American family creates 18 pounds a day. Multiply those numbers by 365 days for the year, and wowzers. Okay, so that's 1,642 pounds per person every year. And that's 6,570 pounds per family annually. So, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but that feels like a problem to me. And I can imagine that if you're doing that every day and then you do your like yearly haul and you throw away all this other stuff, that week you're going to have a whole lot more. Okay, so this show is like, how can we do better, right? And I just want to remind you guys that like I expect that a lot of people that are in this show are sort of like in the beginning stages. And if you're past that, then kudos to you. But hopefully, I'm helping people learn a little bit here. All right, so like I said, these numbers are considerably high. The average of other nations, for example, in Europe, the average amount of trash generated by one person is 1,073 pounds. So we're talking like the American is like 600 plus pounds, not like of their body, of their garbage. The average American throws away 80 pounds of clothing alone a year. And I just like added that little tidbit in there because like to me, I can't imagine throwing clothes away. Like, that sounds so crazy to me. Like, so you have a pair of pants and you don't wear them anymore and you like throw them the fuck away? Like, what? So it's okay though, because if you do that, hopefully I'm going to tell you where they can also go. All right, so 304 million Amazon boxes end up in landfills each year. And another large source of trash is food waste, which we're going to talk about, yard debris, plastics. All of these things have other places that they can go. According to Upstream, products and packaging account for as much as 71% of the waste stream in America. So like when you go buy like fruit or whatever and it comes in packaging, you go buy like a cucumber, everything comes in like mad packaging. So 71% of our garbage is that, which to me is it gives me hope because I choose to refuse to purchase things that way. So if like 71% of us did that, then that would kind of like alleviate that problem in my girl math mind. All right. So most of our waste consists of single-use products, your daily Starbucks. So all this kind of stuff. All right. So today we're going to talk about where we can put all this stuff. So the first thing I'm going to say is how we can produce less waste on like a daily basis. And that's to not create it, right? So if you're saving energy to have to throw it away and make it something else and recycle it and all that stuff, just don't have it in the first place. That's the easiest way, right? So for me, like when I go shopping, I'm like, well, what does it come with? If it comes in packaging, I don't buy it. To me, my money is my vote because that's the absolute only thing that I have control over. Well, not most of my money I have control over, but if I'm buying it, I get to pick what I buy, right? So, like if I buy anything that I have the option that it doesn't come, like in produce, anything, like I don't buy it if it comes in packaging. Like when I buy my meat, if it comes in styrofoam, I don't buy it. I try to buy like at least just plastic, which at least plastic is not great, but it's better than styrofoam. So, it's just like making little decisions that I can choose that come with less packaging to begin with. So you know how I always give you guys a confession? I just thought of this confession. You're probably going to think this is like weird, but to me, it's perfectly fine. So like, when you go to the produce section and you buy your produce and like you get those plastic bags and you put like all your produce in those plastic bags. They also make reusable of these, but I just don't put it in anything like at all. I just put the thing in the cart and then I put it on the belt, and then I put it in my bag, and I take it home, and then I wash it. So that's my confession. So I don't know. You can judge me. Is it simple or is it sustainable? I don't know. You have to let me know on Instagram. But yeah, you're gonna wash it anyway. I don't know. I like very rarely get sick, so I was just a little bit sick, but it was just a minor head cold for a while. Anyways, all right. So back to the show. So the first way that we can produce less waste is to like refuse it and not have it in the first place. But next, what can we do with all this stuff? So, you go through all your clothes, you don't want these, you go through all that, whatever you don't want, you're going to have like all this stuff. What do you do with it? So, a lot of people give donating to the Goodwill a bad rap. Now, I just did all this research, and there are so many stages of what happens to the things at Goodwill before it goes into the landfill that, like, I just maybe 5% of the like tons and tons and tons of textiles that they get going there. Like, I don't like to do doom and gloom. I love the Goodwill. I'm all for donating to Goodwill, Salvation Army. There are green drops. I think there's like 300 locations throughout America. But those three are great places to start. And you load up your car, you go around back, you drop it off. They even give you a slip so you can do, a tax write-off if you're eligible for that. And you're helping your local community provide jobs and training. And a lot of them are supportive of other organizations. So I'm going to give you a list of places that you can go if you don't want to go to the Goodwill. And all these will be in the show notes. But they're Goodwill, Salvation Army, Green Drop, Dress for Success is a great community organization. There's a place called AM Vets, National Service Foundation, which obviously supports vets. Habitat for Humanity, the ARC, Pick Up Please, Furniture Bank Network, if you got like furniture, pickupmydonation.com. These are all great places that you can go ahead and donate your unwanted items. And you obviously want to try to make sure they're clean and worthy of someone else having. So please, do your due diligence with that. But I mean, just go ahead and drop them off. Or some of those you can just call the number and they'll even come pick it up. So really no excuses there. If you have books, I know books seem to be something that are less accepted for whatever reason, maybe just because they don't move as quickly. This is a little tip that I have. I don't like to give cards because I feel like they're just paper and people throw them away or save them for a light year like I do, which I don't want to do that anymore. So please don't give me cards. Because I'll save it forever. I give books instead of cards to kids. So like, oh God, I could probably even show you. All those books that you see right there are kids' books. And so I just like look through and I'll write my name in there and on a little note actually, so then they can reuse it. And then give those as the card instead. And I think it looks super cute too. And it's kind of more personable. Anyways, people are going to like a book a little better than a card, I think. Anyways, so books, you can go to local hospitals, shelters, or, there's little free libraries in your community. You can drop books off there. Now, if your clothes have like stains or rips or whatever, and you don't want them anymore, you can do what's called a take back bag. It does cost you a little bit of money, but they usually give you like I don't know, they're usually like stores. So they take the clothes and the old clothes and then they make new stuff out of them. So one is Arvin Goods and that one's only $10. And they have a take back bag, or it's called take back bag. And that one's $20, but it saves 15 pounds out of the landfill of textiles, and 92 pounds of emissions, which is the equivalent of driving 200 miles. So that's pretty good too. All right. So as far as community initiatives, I cannot honestly say enough about Buy Nothing groups. So if you've never heard of it before, just go on Facebook, go to groups, search Buy Nothing, and then put in like whatever neighborhood is near you, right? And you can only belong to one. They like check and make sure you don't belong to more than one, but it's literally amazing. I mean, people have porch parties, basically it's nobody buys anything. If you need something or want something, you just put wish and then you put whatever you want. So like if you go on there and say you have all these boxes, or say you have all these clothes that you're getting rid of, or whatever you're getting rid of, you just take a picture and kind of list, describe what the things are. And people just like come take them like a fairy. They just come, like you can have like what's called a porch party, or you can list them individually. You can do it like in a way that's really thoughtful. Like say if it's an expensive kind of thing, like I got a freaking tablet. It didn't end up working for me, and then I regifted it to someone else. But, I put in like my name and what I was going to use it for, and I got it. Like I got a tablet. It's amazing. All my furniture, like my whole house is literally buy nothing or Facebook Marketplace. This bookshelf I just showed you, buy nothing. And I just wished for it. I said like, I need a bookshelf. I need a coat rack. I need blah, blah, blah. I need a lamp. Like, I'm not going to show you. Anyway, but literally like whatever you want, you just wish for it, and then people get on there. And so that is a way for you to also get rid of your things, because you can post it and people come take it. So I'm obsessed with that. Definitely check that out. I think they're actually working on an app for that, which I like. I don't know. I haven't tried it, but I heard like weird things about the app. It's like less community based, and I kind of like the fact that it's like people down the street. But anyway, buy nothing. You could donate it to your local church, and then other community organizations. Like if you're in Savannah, there's Old City Mission, or if you're in Delaware, there's like West Side, or the Warehouse, or what's the Latin place? Latin American LACC. All kinds of places. So check with your local organizations and see if they have any type of, sometimes they have like a yearly yard sale, things like that. So, there's a host of ways that you can help your local community other than like throwing it in the landfill, which is like the worst thing that you could do, in my opinion. It's causing a lot of other problems. Okay. So before I get into responsible disposing, I'm going to just give a quick shout out to a product that I like, which is Frownies. If you are looking to ditch the tox and have a nice, smooth, wrinkle-free forehead, definitely give Frownies a try. Use code SIMPLE for 10% off. And then I get 10%, which is great, because then I can buy more Frownies. They're super inexpensive. They have a whole line of skincare products that I absolutely love, and they really, really do work. So basically, I reached out to them and asked if they had an affiliate program, because I like the product so much, and I tell everybody about it anyway, so I might as well try to make some money off of it, right? Okay. So, yeah, and you're basically training, and it's just for guys too. Like not just girls have forehead wrinkles. If you are, having can bake a cake in your wrinkles, why not, smooth them out a little bit. So yeah. Anyways, what's next? Okay, so community initiatives. So, I did that. Buy nothing, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so responsible disposing. Now, all right, so that box or that drawer where you keep all of your electronics, they changed the mini USB on everything. So now all of our chargers are friggin' obsolete. What do you do with all these chargers now? They're not coming back. You don't have to save them. Rid yourself of the clutter, but you don't have to throw them away. So I did a little research and found out a phenomenal tip for you guys. Did you know that Staples literally takes like all the electronics? They have a whole thing that says recycling day is every day. Adapters, cables, computers, battery backup devices, cables, calculators, camcorders, coffee brewers, CD, DVDs, cordless phones, desktop computers, e-readers, flash drives, GPSs, you name it, they will take it off your hands and recycle it properly. So that is probably like the tip of the day, because they're everywhere. So wherever you're listening, you got a Staples near you. All right. So if you have electronics, now you know where to go. Just a little fun fact. According to the US Public Interest Research Group, there are at least 27 states in 2021 that are trying to pass a bill called the Right to Repair. And I just wanted to add this in for like the waste of electronics because this is insane. Like, do you ever have anything break and then you just like want to go get it fixed and they're like, "Oh, that'll be $7,000." Or we actually don't do that. Like my vacuum broke and I just can't go get it fixed. I went to 3 places. They're like, "Yeah, just buy a new vacuum. It's like $39." I'm like, "But I have a vacuum. It's fine. It just needs like probably something very small to fix it or DVD player or whatever." Yeah, so House Bill 41, if you hear about it, would require manufacturers to make parts, documentation tools, and updates available for a fair and reasonable price. Um, yeah, and I think it would probably employ people because there's probably a lot of people that like to fix shit and they can't find a job because nobody fixes shit anymore. So that's just my little 2 cents on electronics. The right to repair bill is something that I'm very much in favor of. With that said, if you do have something that is broken and you want to get rid of it or take it to Staples, I try to like find local places that are like mom and pop shops that maybe sell that instead of like a big box store and see if they do repairs. Sometimes you get lucky and they do. So if you're somebody like me who kind of wants the hunt, don't be afraid to just like ask people if they do repairs. Like I said, I have gotten lucky. If you're in Savannah, where did I put it? There's a place called, where did I put it? It's probably in my notes somewhere down the line. But yeah, so you can look for places like that. Now, if you have a bunch of medicine, like prescription drugs that you're trying to get rid of, check with your local state. So if you're in Delaware, DSWA has that, and DSWA does hazardous waste. Delaware Health, like the government does that. And they have various events. If you check delaware.gov, or, whatever your local one is, they'll tell you for prescription drugs, most likely. But there's special recycling programs for wherever you are. So things like paper shredding, hazardous waste, which would be like household cleaners, garden pesticides, oil-based paint, nail polish, fluorescent bulbs. You cannot recycle light bulbs. They're not just like plain old glass. Antifreeze, stuff like that you don't know what to do with, which, by the way, if you don't know what to do with it, if you're questioning if it's recyclable or not, it's better to actually throw it away than put it in the recycling. Because recycling, like, we don't want to contaminate that, which I'm going to talk about that in just a second. Actually, the place, here it is. Short Circuit is the place that you can go in Savannah if you want to get anything fixed, if you're near the Georgia area. Really nice guy. Also does a podcast. And a place that I like to donate my stuff to locally is Old City Mission, which I mentioned earlier. Okay, so now speaking of recycling, I'm going to give you guys a quick 101 on recycling. And I know I'm going to blow a lot of people's minds right now. Plastic bags are not recyclable. Plastic bags are not recyclable. Please say it with me. So what I mean is, you have a receptacle that collects your recycling. You can't put a plastic bag in it. Why? Because plastic bags are not recyclable. Okay, so if you take anything from the show, please learn that. I feel like, yeah. Anyways, so your recycling should be loose. No food, no liquid, no styrofoam, and nothing that's like mixed. So like, and I talked about this on my like second show about coffee, like the paper cups. If you have any paper cup, it's not recyclable because it's actually lined with plastic, because if you think about it, the liquid just run right through, especially if it's hot. So not recyclable. Tissues, paper towels, receipts, not recyclable. Junk mail, for some reason, is recyclable. I don't really understand that because I know there's like that plastic stuff on it, but so they say. Yeah, so like if you're not sure, also tinfoil is apparently not recyclable, which I did not also know. Yeah, so those things they don't go in the recycling, they go in the garbage. But also no tires or wood. But yes to cans, cardboard, um, plain plastic containers like, jugs or, anything that's just like plain plastic, which, like I said, I'm going to do a whole show on this. There's a little number on there. We have to look up for a local community if they have it, but we'll talk about that later. Usually glass is recyclable. So, but again, you can check, your local place. Just Google, recycling and then, whoever you use. If you are also in Delaware, Recycle Right in DE is called Recyclopedia, which is super duper helpful. Plastic Free Delaware has resources, but these are all resources that you can use to find out if whatever it is that you're wanting to throw away or recycle is actually whichever one it goes. Okay, now, if you have a question about where, because I know I really only talked about like Delaware or Savannah, if you want to know if something is recyclable or if not, if something is recyclable, you can look that up on your own. But like, if you want to know, like, where can I go to take this? Like if it's one of those hazardous waste things and you're not sure and you can't find it, totally reach out to me. Like, number one, I want to hear from you anyway. And number two, I'm happy to help. And number three, I want to help and I want to talk to you. So 100% reach out to me on Instagram. Again, it's simp, that's SIMP .ly.b, simply B. Again, because somebody with Simply B was taken that doesn't use Instagram anymore. All right. So I'm happy to go on the hunt for you. I think it's fun. And so your simple swap of the week, it's not actually, well, it is a swap. It is to not put a plastic bag in your recycling. No, swap it for air. How much simpler than that can it be? And like, don't worry, it's not, if you're recycling properly, like, there's not going to be, you don't need anything in there. Like there's nothing to collect the plastic in. Cause if there's beer in your can, you rinse it out and shake it out. And also another myth that I read is that like, no, it can't have like food in it. But it doesn't have to be like bone dry. Like you could rinse it out, pour it out, and it can have like a little water in there. But anyways, yeah. So that is your simple swap of the week. No garbage bag in your recycling. All right, I have a joke for you guys today. I know I said I was going to originally do jokes and I kind of forgot for a little while. So we did the Evian joke, which was one of my favorite jokes ever, which is how it got started. But all right, so according to the new UN report, the global warming outlook is much worse than originally predicted, which is pretty bad when they originally predicted that it would destroy the planet. Jay Leno for that one. Thank you, Jay Leno. All right. So basically what we're recapping today is that when you're downsizing, when you're decluttering, and you're going through all these things that no longer serve you, which first of all, kudos to you for doing that. I'm so happy that you're doing that. Let's not try to like double it now or nothing. But just try to think about like, instead of throwing it away, where can it, should it, could it go? Right. So if it could be donated, if it's pretty much fine, but you don't want it anymore. If it's clothes and it's maybe for your kid that outgrew them, is there somebody that you could give them to? Your trash is someone else's treasure. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people that are less fortunate than you that would really, really, really appreciate to have that. So whether it's free, whether it's at the Goodwill, whether it's at the Salvation Army, wherever it is. Again, if you don't know, you can message me. But hopefully this episode has given you some ideas as to where you can go ahead and put that. Because like I said, the landfills are very much overflowing. All right. I love you so much. Oh, one more thing. I have news. I am officially on Apple Podcasts now. Yay! If you're not watching, I just did a happy dance. I have had this problem with my cover art. It was saying that it was the wrong size, but I don't know how that would be the wrong size because it's the right size, but I fixed it. So it works now. So now I'm on Apple Podcasts. So yay. Yay for everyone that is possibly listening to Apple Podcasts. I am so, 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 so happy that you're here, that I'm here, and that we can be here together. Yeah. So officially, you can listen to this podcast wherever you get your podcasts, including Apple Podcasts. And lastly, just to close out, things that I learned this week is that Staples takes electronics. Woo! All right. So thank you guys so, so much for listening. I am so, so happy that you're here. Please do me a favor and leave me a review. Screenshot your progress or anything that you learned. And, thank you all so much for being here. I love you.